I met this couple when I spoke to the Tampa chapter of Helping Parents Heal. That was the first time I spoke to the group, and many of you know that I really like the one-on-one readings, and I don't care to do group demonstrations. But when I showed up in Tampa, there were about 30 people present, and I just thought, I want to do my best and bring through some spirits. And I was drawn to Brooke and Jordan here, and your little son came through so beautifully. Logan is their son, and I don't recall many of the details from that night, but I know I was shocked because your son had only passed 10 weeks earlier.
Correct.
And you guys were, of course, just, pretty broken at that point. And what a gift to hear from him. And he showed us how he passed, and I know that had a big effect on you. So here you are a year later, now leading your own chapter of Helping Parents Heal in Indianapolis, right?
Yep. Well, we begin next week. But
next week. Okay, so I wanted to share that we decided it's time to do a real reading for you guys. So rather than just a 10-minute in front of a group reading. So we did a computer reading with Brooke and Jordan last week, and let me tell you, Logan was just awesome. I have a couple of pictures here I want to share with everybody, but the very first thing I tuned in, I said, okay, Logan, I know who you are because I met you for a few minutes, but come on in. And he showed up putting a flower, holding up a flower. I said, he's holding a flower out like he's giving it to you, Mom. And I hope everybody will be able to see this. Can you see that, Beth? Can you tell what it is? Isn't that nice? This is a photo of Logan younger holding up the flower, which is exactly how he appeared to me, which I just loved. Their son showed up with his personality. I hope that to you, to me, he was right there in the room with me. But I hope that the description of his personality was just like, that's him. But what I loved is at this one point, I was crossing my arms and just standing there just a little bit, with a little bit of attitude, right? And so I could share this beautiful picture. I got Bentley. Isn't that beautiful? They shared that with me.
Goosebumps.
Yeah. But
too, just now, actually, me too.
Yeah, but what I love is the current events in your life. And Logan validated for me what I shared with you earlier. I wasn't just speaking of niceties when I say that the kids on the other side are forming one big network. Logan was only 10 when he passed, correct?
9.
9. He's 10 now. So he showed me that even though he was younger than most of the Helping Parents Heal kids that I've brought through so far, he's part of that. And he said to me, it's one big web of how we're helping on the other side. And then he said, like, Dad's been cleaning up spider web around the house. And I remember, Brooke, you laughed because that was a hit, huh?
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah, Jordan, I had just sent him, just found this nasty web downstairs in the basement, I think a day or two before. And there was, this spider that was haunting me. And I was like, you got to clean up that web. Clean it up. Clean it up.
Exactly. The thing that cracked me up the most, I think, in your reading was how you, Brooke, you kept every bit of evidence that came out, you would go, you just clasped your hand, and I was like, oh, that's a hit. Oh, that's a hit. But the thing that I loved was all of a sudden, your son showed me this little ceramic snake that I have that I keep on my, believe it or not, my bathroom sink. It's a symbol of transformation, and Ty bought it for me as a joke. But I said, your son is showing me this little ceramic snake that I have. I actually had it beside me in the reading. And I said, he's pushing at you, Brooke. He's pushing it at you. And I picked it up and showed him. And why was that important?
Logan, when I was in, I think it was Albuquerque for work when he was a few years old, I had bought him this snake that was shaped in the same form as your snake, and I had picked it up at the airport, and it's like this little colorful beaded snake, but I bought it for him, and it was he always had it sitting out on his desk or out on his dresser. And I mean that snake has always been very important to me. I've put it up in in his stuff that we haven't gotten back out yet because I don't want it to get torn up. But you know, I mean, but down to the shape, you know, that swirly shape that you.
Yeah, and I love that, you know, here in the house, I keep it on the bathroom sink, but there on the bus, like, it was right on the dresser beside me, which is amazing to me how his soul knew that and just like, pick that up and show my mom. And it was so meaningful. But here's the lesson here is that, you know, yes, that's a beautiful piece of evidence, but then you say, well, why did you choose that? What's the story? And he, through concepts, showed me that for me, that snake is a symbol of transformation. For you guys, it was like a joke, and you had this thing you had. But that's when he said that you guys starting your chapter of helping parents heal was a way that showed your transformation from grief to now helping others heal, and how you would have ripple effects. And he said, don't worry if only 1 or 2 people showed up. And you had just had that conversation the night before, right?
Yeah, we were talking about, or I had mentioned to Jordan, I said, well, what if nobody shows up to our first meeting? You know, what if it doesn't take off? And you had said, you know, just be patient, or that he had said, just be patient. Or I think the guides maybe had stepped in and said something too. And, you know, said, just be patient, give it a couple, 3 months. And then, you know, the numbers would start to rise. People would start to come. I tell people now that it feels very Field of Dreams. You know, if you build it, they will come. That's what
That's right.
That's what it feels like. But yeah, we had that conversation. I was expressing my concern that, you know, because Indianapolis is a much different place than what we're used to in Tampa. So, you know, it is a concern, but I'm not concerned.
But the thing was that he went from, you know, when I was brand new to readings, I would have just said, he showed me a snake, and you would have said, yes, we have a snake. And I would have been thrilled with that and the reading that, then we'd move on to another piece of evidence. But instead it led to this discussion about how the kids are helping on the other side. And he validated a conversation you'd had the night before about being worried. And it just opened it up to whole new levels, which is just beautiful. What I loved, the favorite thing of all, though, was the way the reading ended for you guys. Oh, by the way, he also brought up, we won't talk about it, but point blank, something that was very generic, something that people would have around the house. And I didn't want to mention it because it was so generic, but guys, mention everything. If you're working as a medium, mention everything, because there's a reason. And you all had just been talking about it because you're thinking of starting a business with that very generic item. So I was really glad that he brought it up and I had the nerve to talk about it. So at the end of the reading, I even said out loud, okay, Logan, let's pull out all the stops now. I mean, it had been a wonderful reading, but I said, give me something good. And some of you saw I posted this on Facebook. I thank you for letting me share this huge wow. But I said, pull out all the stops. Let's end this reading with a big wow. And I said, he's showing me little pieces of construction paper, how we used to build little chains of construction paper. And and then again, go for layers. I said, he's saying this has to do with him and his sister making this. Remember the layers? So why was that a big wow?
The Compassionate Friends here in Indianapolis is starting a siblings chapter, and we had been to the Compassionate Friends the night before the reading. And that night, one of the last activities Mallory did was creating those paper chains. And there it is.
Yes.
And she connected all of them into, you know, almost like a bracelet type of thing. But you can see, or it's on, you know, your Facebook page. She's got I Love Logan on, you know, on 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
So that was pretty incredible.
It's amazing. And you know, to be able to, now you'll be able to remember that always, and that when you go to lead your meetings, you can assure the other parents that they're just right here. Mm-hmm. And for everybody listening tonight, you know, that this is not a temporary connection. This is an ongoing connection. They know what is going on in our lives. They know about cleaning up spiders and the wonderful memories. So it's just beautiful.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing, Logan, and your story with all of us tonight.